Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. Today, it's actually Series 3 in FH5. It is a new week, new series, and a new year. And with it comes some new vehicles like this, the 2003 Toyota Celica. To unlock that, you need to get 45 points in the summer season. We're actually going to be unlocking that tomorrow. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. In the Forzathon shop for the week, we've got the McLaren Speedtail, which I don't actually own, okay? If you head to the car pass, we've also got this, the Jaguar XJ13 from 1966. And this is, or could have been, sort of kind of, the world's most expensive vehicle. I'll explain why in a second, and this is what we're gonna try driving today. Bone stock, it's got 500 horsepower, which is just insane for the 1960s. It's got nearly 400 foot-pounds of torque. It's got a massive 5-liter V12, and it weighs nothing. Right off the bat, look at this vehicle. There is nothing like this. It's actually convertible. You can see that V12 at, well, that's certainly a way to... Okay. Anyways, you can see that big old V12 engine in there. Before we get into any FH5 customization, I want to try driving the Jag XJ13 bone stock to see what it can do. And as per usual, this wouldn't be an AR12 video without any fun facts about this thing. And like I said, this might very well be the world's most expensive car. I know right off the bat, some people are going to be yelling at their monitors going, but my Ferrari 250 GTO! As the story goes, back in the 1960s, Jag was developing this massive V12 engine that we've got in the back of this thing. It was designed to do proper races, however, when they introduced it, it never actually raced. And because of that, Jag only ever made one of these things. That didn't stop Jag from actually doing like promo stuff with it. And one day in the 1970s, I think it was, they were actually doing like a photo shoot with it. And long story short, it crashed. It crashed so badly, actually, it nearly got completely destroyed. Long story short, Jag took it back to their factory. They actually kept it in storage for a really, really long time. Somebody eventually noticed that it was just sitting there not doing anything. Somebody bought it with the intention of rebuilding it. They rebuilt it, and this is it today. Why is this more expensive than the Ferrari 250 GTO? Well, for one, there's 36 Ferrari 250 GTOs. There is one of these. Back in 1996, somebody offered to buy this very vehicle for £7 million. At the time, the Ferrari 250 GTOs were only selling for $2 million. If this sold today for the same amount, this would be worth $150 million. Since there's only one of them, it's not for sale. It will never be for sale, and it's actually in a museum up in the UK if you want to go and see it. It's not the world's most expensive car, but it would be the world's most expensive car if it actually sold. So yeah. In other news, in terms of Forza Horizon 5, this thing is actually really, really fast. I don't understand why it's in A class. I've got to assume it's because the tires are from the 1960s or whatever. But even considering that, like, where's the AI? There they are. They're, uh-oh. All right, and that makes it 2 times it's been crashed. Note to self, do not look backwards when you're driving a $150 million one-of-one Jag. Yeah, that's a top tip for you. Look at the lap time. We're the only person in the 119s. The Jag XJ13 is awesome. No way. We've actually got some engine swaps for the Jag XJ13. Here's the thing with this car, though. Because it's so lightweight, this might actually be one of the vehicles that dominates the drag strip in FH5. So we will definitely give that a go. Engine swap available for this thing. We've got our big V12 bone stock, and we can swap in the racing V12, which weighs even less. I think we'll come back to that engine in a second. For now, let's keep this engine in here. We're rear wheel drive bone stock. I think I want to stay rear wheel drive for right now. I don't want to mess around with any of that. Our twin turbos actually take us to the top of A-class beautifully. We've also got some aero that we can swap on here to maybe, you know, avoid crashing it. So we can get a front splitter on here. We might toss that on. We'll have to see. Rear wing. Oh, no way. Look at that thing. Okay, I don't think that would do anything for the aero, but that's pretty sick. We'll come back to our aero in a second. For now, our tires. So street tires. Yes, it does make us go up to S1 class. Sport tires. Semi-slicks is already the middle of S1 class. And full slicks is bang on pretty much on the middle of S1. You can go for your drift tires, your snow tires, and drag tires on there. I would have loved to have seen some white walls, but regardless, that's pretty sick. Yo, and then our tire width. Somehow we're only 185 in the front bone stock. Let's go up to 245. That's going to be way grippier. We're 285 in the rear, and we can go up to 325. Jeez. I'm actually going to leave the rims bone stock. We won't mess around with those. We do have some engine... Oh. All right, well, you know, after that, we'll upgrade our clutch, our drivetrain, and so on. We can upgrade the brakes. They go from a 4.8 up to a 6.9. That's awesome. We've also got some suspension. So no way. We've got race suspension, rally suspension, and drift suspension on the world's most expensive vehicle. The more I look at this thing, the more I think it'll actually be a really good drag or a drift car, excuse me. It's kind of really long, which would actually make it really good for drifting. We will see about that as well. We've actually got some extra PI left over, so let's toss that front splitter on and that rear wing. That rear wing actually makes our class go down after all of our upgrades. 800 horsepower, 2,600 pounds, but we've given it way more grip, which should be really good. Somebody in Twitch chat actually brings up a really good point. Why don't I upgrade my tires up to full slicks instead of the semi-slicks that I usually run? Yes, there we go. So now we're nearly at the top of S1 class. Last little thing before we do get onto the road, painting options. We don't have any painting colors for this because, like I said, one of one. That's actually more like an Aston Martin green, but regardless, super cool. What a beautiful looking vehicle, and it lines up with the 250 GTO. So we are rear wheel drive, another 250 GTO. Imagine both of those being the same price as one of these. Like I was saying, I'm rear wheel drive now. I've got a bunch more horsepower, and I think this is gonna be insane. It's not actually that slidey, considering it's got 800 horsepower. We've got some actual aerodynamics on the car, so we can actually go through the corners pretty quickly. No way that would have been possible before. Same thing here. Okay. Move. How is this so good? That is so sick. That sound and interior's even better. This thing definitely has the potential to be an awesome drift car and an awesome drag car. I think we will need to swap in that other V12 engine. Like I said at the start of this, though, the worst part of this is people are going to sleep on the Jag because they think it's a boring old Jag. And that sucks. We definitely need to give this a go on the drag strip. On the drag strip, it's gonna rip things up. So let's go back to the festival, custom upgrades again, and make this thing a 0.6 mile beast. We need our racing V12 engine. You can see right away what that does to the weight of the vehicle. We go from 2,600 pounds to 2,300 pounds, which is huge for drag racing. We're also going to go all-wheel drive, which does weigh us down a little bit more, but should be worth it for the extra grip. I'm going to go no aero on this thing. I think it might be a little bit slidey, but I think it's going to be worth no aero for the gain. We've already got our upgraded brakes that make us a little bit lighter, so that's worth it. I don't want a roll cage on this thing because It weighs an extra 40 pounds, and we want to be as light as possible. And then other than that, let's upgrade this engine to the max. This is actually the engine we've been using a lot over the past couple of videos. I don't think we've actually done a drag race with this engine now that I think about it, so hopefully this works. We've now got over 1,100 horsepower. We didn't actually go for all of the upgrades, so we could maximize that weight reduction. 2,400 pounds. All right, this should be pretty good. This is actually the car that we're going kind of head to head with, the Lamborghini Diablo GTR. This is lighter and more powerful than the Jag, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to touch the Diablo's time. Regardless, the Jag should still be pretty quick for what it is. I'm really hoping we can get like a 13.5. Okay, we're definitely gonna need to clean up our launch off the line. And then we'll see how our gears are as well. Crazy fast. That acceleration to 200 miles an hour is awesome. Our gears are actually really good. I just got to get out of first gear a little bit cleaner. A 14.3 though. The car's really light, so it kind of turned right by itself. So let's clean up that launch. Hold it in first a little bit longer. There we go. That's nice. And then allow each gear to extend itself. There we go. 0 to 200 miles an hour in 11 seconds. That is crazy. Anyways, we cleaned up the launch. We cleaned up the shifts. A 14.2. I would imagine with a little bit of a better tune, you probably could get into the 13s, but it would be kind of difficult. You know what? Since we've got all of these upgrades on here and this vehicle is like so low, so slick, I should probably try doing a top speed test with this thing. Come on, Jag XJ13. So unfortunately, we're gonna have some traffic out here, so we might need to do a little bit of dodging. Okay, and jumping over the bridges. 200 miles an hour already in 6th gear, 240 miles an hour. We're gonna get 250 miles an hour. Okay, how fast can we go? We gotta hit 270, 265. Keep it going. Get that speed. 268, 269, 270. We're going up a hill at 270 miles an hour. This is where we should hit the top speed, though, just down through here. 270 still, 271, 272, 273, 274. It's trying. 274 miles an hour. Oh, geez, that is fast. It's a death trap at 270 miles an hour. That is seriously quick. Before we get into any drifting and sideways stuff, I want to do one more build with this. I want to have our racing V12 engine in because, like I said, it's so much lighter. And then I want to get our all-wheel drive on. I want an S2 class Jaguar XJ13 with full aero and everything. 1,200 horsepower, 2,500 pounds with full race tires and full aero. Yo, this looks like straight out of Austin Powers for some reason. Okay, the memory is on point today. That is the Austin Powers Jaguar E-Type, and we're driving the XJ13. Let's see how fast this absolute rocket ship can be. We're middle of S2 class, all-wheel drive, every single upgrade applied. I'm really hoping that we're going to be quick in the corners, as that's kind of where I've focused most of my efforts. Yo, look at all the Corvettes up there. It's pretty good in the corners. It actually feels really tight. There you go. Oh my God. Yeah, it kind of takes off out of the corners. Like, you get on the brakes, nothing super crazy. You turn in, nothing too crazy. And then you get on the power, and it's like, boom, gone. Even with the cheating Forza AI, this is like anti-cheat for Forza. That's what this is. It keeps the AI from cheating against you because it's so quick. That's sick. It's seriously like somebody sped the game up. It's like it's running like 1.5 times speed.
Jeez.
Imagine actually trying to insure this. Like, who knows what it would actually cost in real life? Like, it's totally irreplaceable. But imagine the insurance on a vehicle, one of one, potentially worth $150 million. That's crazy. Anyways, awesome vehicle, sideways across the line. It's a rocket ship. That's so good. The one downside of this car is I don't think it's actually fast enough to race online in S1 class. Definitely not fast enough for S2 class. I wonder if with like the right upgrades and stuff, you can actually run this thing in A class. I've got to ask myself the question, do I want to go rear wheel drive and kind of keep it more legit? Or do I just go full send, all-wheel drive, and kind of make it like a stunt vehicle? I'm not really sure. Twitch chat, I'm going to let you decide. A lot of Twitch chat actually says rear-wheel drive with this. Okay, I like that. And you know what? Let's keep it legit. Let's keep the stock engine in there, but let's make it a little bit more fun. Twin turbos. I like that. Okay. We're not going to run any aero for this thing. I guess I will go for some drift tires. And then I'm actually going to keep my tires fairly thin. I'm only going to go 215 in the front. And then the rear, let's go. You know what? Let's just keep it stock. 285. The really important thing that we need is our drift suspension. Look at that rear fitment. That is so nice. All of our upgrades applied for drifting. We're middle of S1 class with this, actually. 813 horsepower, 2,500 pounds. We probably want some drift zones kind of more like this. Yeah. Yo, those rear tires are surprisingly grippy. There we go. Into the drift zone. Snap it in nicely from apex to apex. Yo, it's so grippy. It's so grippy. How is that possible? Fourth gear is like anti-slipping this thing. Even though those tires aren't max upgraded in terms of their tire width, they're somehow still surprisingly grippy. I mean, I still pull 160,000 points. It's still a new personal best. Maybe, you know, maybe it's a little bit better for just having some fun in the old Jag. It's a really fun car to drive around in. It might not be the fastest thing in the world, but it's a nice car to drive. And I think that's what's fun about it.